This episode of Hoppy on Broadway is sponsored by Urban Family Brewing. Urban Family Brewing is located in the Magnolia neighborhood of Seattle. They specialize in sours, IPAs, barrel-aged beers, and anything they feel like. Urban Family tries to use as much fresh local fruit and interesting techniques they can think of while creating beers they're proud to serve to their customers. What's up, everyone? My name is K-Rad. I'm a rapper, producer, beer lover, and now I'm a podcaster. Podcasting about Northwest hip-hop and Northwest beer. Why? Well, I love them both, and frankly, you should too. So sit back and crack a cold one as a weekly guest and I talk about all things hip-hop and hops. This is Hoppy on Broadway. We're here on the Ocho, episode 8 of Hoppy on Broadway. I'm your host, K-Rad, and today I am really excited to have Rik Rude on the show. It's kind of strange, but like in a good way, because when I was in high school, I was like kind of growing up on this wave of Seattle hip-hop. It was so big at the time, and Fresh Espresso was out there doing their thing. But it's an excellent interview for anyone who has bumped some of his shit or Metal Chocolates from a few years ago, or who just want to know about, his upcoming release, The Wizard of Ounces. Big ups to Urban Family for sponsoring this episode. I love their beer. Definitely check out their brewery if you're ever around Magnolia. A friendly reminder to my listeners to please like the Facebook page. The page is K-Rad, that's K-RAD. It helps market the show to a greater audience and helps get more of your favorite artists on the show to talk about all things hip-hop and hops. For anyone who follows my music, I got a show on September 18th at the Substation playing with a full live band. It's going to be super dope, and I'd love to see you all out there. We'll be hearing clips of Rik Rude's new unreleased LP, The Wizard of Ounces, throughout the show. Here's the lead single and title track of the album.
And I say, they calling me the Wizard of Ounces. 28 grams and you bounced in. Chopsticks, pick them up, gram by gram. These sativas got me seeing holograms. To an eighth, to a quarter, from a half, from a gram. To an eighth, to a quarter, from a half, from a gram. To an eighth, to a quarter, from a half. Zips, pounds.
Rik Rude is in the building today to drink delicious beer from Urban Family. You may know him from his bands Metal Chocolates or Fresh Espresso, or from his solo career as an all-around badass master of flow. Rik Rude is here to talk about all things hip-hop and hops. Rik, how you doing today, man?
I'm doing great. Thank you for having me, K-Rad.
Yeah, man. Well, thank you so much for coming by. I mean, I've been listening to your music since I was in high school, and it was good to run into you at Urban Legends a couple weeks ago to get you on the show. You were also very helpful, so I got some good weed from you.
Right on.
I appreciate that, man.
I am the Wizard of Ounces.
There you go, the Wizard of Ounces. That's right, man.
Right.
So before we start talking about things hip-hop, we're going to crack open our first beer right now, and this is the Briarheart. It's a fruited sour ale from Urban Family.
Big up Urban Family.
Yeah.
Shout out.
They actually are sponsoring this episode. They gave us this. This was a donation, so we could drink it. But I'm glad that you like sour beer, because I was actually waiting. I've been sitting on this beer for a couple of weeks now because so many people aren't really familiar with sour beers, and it can be a little intimidating because it's such a different taste than other beer. So I'm glad that you're going to dig it. If at any point you want more, feel free to pour yourself more. We also have more in the back if you'd like some more. But until then, cheers, my man.
Salud.
Beer.
Oh, wow.
That's nice.
That's really good.
Yeah. For the record, I'm a huge cider guy. I love kombucha. Like I enjoy the fermented taste. It's just on the back end, you catch that fruit, but it's a really nice tart flavor to it.
Yeah.
I really like this. This is really nice.
It's got like the right amount of sweetness. Mm-hmm. Like it is sour, but it's got, whatever this kind of fruit is. I can't really put my finger on it, like raspberry or something like that.
It's a nice tartness to it.
Yeah.
It's just like really crisp and refreshing.
Yeah. No, I love Urban Family. Me and my friends always go there because it's just like a half mile down the block from where we're recording right now in Magnolia. Okay. But I'm glad you like it, so drink up, my man. But
where can you find these guys? Like, are they a special order, or are they in?
So I don't think I've actually ever seen them in like a wholesale place, maybe like somewhere like Total Wine.
Okay.
But I got these directly from the brewery.
All right.
Yeah, absolutely, man.
This is great.
You say you're a cider man. Is there any specific ciders you're digging on these days?
You know, I'm kind of just doing like kind of the flight method. Like I'll go to a couple places in town.
Yeah.
You know, if I'm in Fremont, I'll hit up like Shillings or just wherever. I go to Chuck's a lot. And I just kind of have them. I just kind of see what's available and just try different ciders. There isn't one that I'm like one over the other per se.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's fun, man. That's one thing about Seattle. It's craft oriented, whether it's, you know, cider, cannabis, wine. There's like a very like nice like niche market here in the Northwest, which is nice.
Yeah, it is. You can get a lot of different. You get a lot of variety in town, which is nice. And you've been in Seattle for how long now? Because you're originally from Michigan.
Yeah. So it goes. I was born in Michigan. Found my way to California, and then California up here to Seattle. A few other pit stops. I went to undergrad in Mississippi and you know, did that. But for the most part, Michigan, California, Seattle.
I was either hearing on an interview or reading that's in California is when you met Peace Move of Fresh Espresso. Is that correct?
Well, no. He actually, at the time, he was in L.A. Working for a company, and you know, you probably have to get him in for the details for his story, but he was a runner for a pretty big studio at the time, and you know, MySpace was a thing, and he heard some of my music, and I followed him, and you know, we had that outreach, and you know, it turned into him being like, Rick, man, you know, you're tight. You should send me some vocals. I'm gonna maybe do some mashups. I'm like, word, and we built this awesome dialogue, and ironically, he ended up moving to Seattle. We ended up connecting, and you know, Fresh Espresso was born.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you guys had, you know, of course, we're going to get into your solo work later on in the podcast, but I'd be stupid not to talk about Metal Chocolates and Fresh Espresso, considering the following you gained just after Fresh Espresso's first release, Glamour, which I believe was like 2010?
2009.
2009.
Yeah.
What was that like working with Peace Move and you guys putting out 2 albums together and hitting up all the major festivals?
Oh, man, it was cool. I mean, we just wanted to have fun and also, you know, really respect the craft. You know, like Peace Move is he's great behind the boards, man. He has the ear for sonics. He's a sharp student, you know, and he's the type of person that, you know, he's gonna give his best or he's not gonna give it at all. You know, and I have a similar work ethic. You know, you put dedication and wanting to have fun and enjoy what you're doing. You know, success will define itself for you, whatever that might be. You know, but yeah, it was a great time. I do have to acknowledge it. This isn't necessarily public record, but I actually was a co-founder of a collective called Deluxe Gentlemen. Shout out Lord Vintage. That was actually one of the first people that I met, and we created a huge underground movement. You know, we used to fancy the lo-fi, and we'd do freestyle sessions, and we ran into a great circle, had an opportunity of working with the likes of Silas Black.
When was this started?
This was like 04, 05. But yeah, man, Deluxe Gentlemen. I just had to give a shout out to Lord Vintage, who's actually on the new record, which we'll talk about later, moving forward, but also reaching back, so to speak.
So you've known him for a while.
Yeah, definitely. Like that's like I call him my sparring partner. Like, like when it's all done and said, Lord Vintage, man, that's, you know, when I go into the chamber, when I'm on my Rocky IV, you can't wreck Rocky, you can't win. I'm in the fucking freezer in the meat rack, but I'm sparring with Lord Vintage. I'm making sure my bars are tight. Yeah. And that, you know, that's like, you know, man, Raekwon Ghostface, Nas AZ, that Lord Vintage, that's my ace, you know, that's my rhyme sparring partner. And we're constantly just doing stuff like, you know, just for us making tapes, putting tapes out, you know, just rhyming, doing events. We opened up for just sidebar conversation, but it's important for the people to know this. Deluxe Gentlemen, him and I, Lord Vintage, we actually opened up for, the Dead Prez when they were out here. And, wow. Man, big up Silent Lamb, Specs One, just all the heads, man. You know, Vitamin D. I remember going to the pharmacy for the first time and And those heads that I feel personally don't really get the recognition, considering the notoriety that this city gets. Again, man, big up Vitamin D, Specs One, Silas Black, Jace, Silent Lambs. There's many more, but that's just important for me to mention.
Yeah. Well, when I interviewed, Specs Wizard on the second, maybe his third episode actually of Hoppy on Broadway, it was really nice to hear someone who had been there since the beginning of hip hop throughout Seattle's history as well. Mm-hmm. And I'm glad you brought out the shout out. Is Deluxe Gentleman still doing things now? I mean,
Deluxe Gentleman to me is an institution. Mm-hmm. I mean, like, it's one of those things where, when we link, it's just Deluxe Gentleman. Mm-hmm. Where, and so that's just kind of how we keep it. It keeps it organic. If we do cut a record, which could happen, we might drop a single or it just works in a plethora of different ways. I know Lord Vintage has been working with OC Notes for some time, and they've been working on material. Mm-hmm. So Deluxe Gentleman is really like, it's like a collective or a home base of just like kind of, hey, this is where we kind of ground. This is where we come back. Yeah. Inspired, that whole outfit is inspired by, just the camaraderie of a Wu-Tang or a Camp Lo, where you just knew cats were just in it to just spit tight rhymes. Big up Shabazz, by the way, man. Big up Ish, man. Big up 10 Dot.
Yeah, they
just
put out like a new release not too long ago.
Yeah, man. Shout outs all over the place.
Speaking of OC Notes, that was your other half of Metal Chocolates, and that was the name of the album, correct? But not necessarily the group.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Similar vibe. Like, we just kind of put the music first, and we called the album Metal Chocolates. Not being like, we're trying to create a group. It's just like, this is that Metal Chocolate shit. Mm-hmm. And, it just kind of was like self-titled. So, again, it was just like the project came of itself, mm-hmm. and the name suited the music, and it was just, that's what it was. It was like a movement. It's like Metal Chocolates, you know? So, yeah.
Psychedelic kind of hip hop kind of feels what you get from that.
Yeah, definitely.
Was there ever like kind of a when you're rapping, when you're writing to a beat, obviously there were some big differences between Metal Chocolates and Fresh Espresso, mm-hmm. but they are going on simultaneously. How do you adapt your rapping style to these types of beats or these types of art, or is it always just you being you?
I'm a Libra, so like balance is like variety. Mm-hmm. I can't speak for anyone else, but like I have a plethora of different styles. Like, mm-hmm. I don't just listen to one type of music. I don't just like drink one type of wine. Like, I have a lot of influences and inspirations, and there's certain things that I have that probably, I'm not gonna try and fit a square into a circle peg.
Sure.
So. Again, I mean, it's always me. It's just going to be a wide variety of offerings. Mm-hmm. So depending on the sonic platform, I'm able to actually, find things that I feel will work. Now, if I don't like them, I'm never going to work on anything that I'm not feeling.
Yeah.
So if anything, I think it's just maybe an ode to maybe how wide my palette is.
Talk to me about what happened to Metal Chocolates and Fresh Espresso. You guys haven't put out music in a long time.
Well, you got to understand, like, you just create and you it's a feeling. Mm-hmm. And I mean, let's be realistic. Like, 2017 is a way different time than it was 2009 and 2010.
Yep.
I would shift that conversation and say, I'm very grateful to have been a part of two collectives that is still being talked about today.
Sure.
And that's where, will Fresh Espresso make another record? I mean, we can if we want. There's no pressure. Yeah. We have nobody. I mean, that is to our discretion. Mm-hmm. Metal Chocolate, same thing. Mm-hmm.
But you're not forcing anything.
No, and then and that's not to
keeping
say
it organic.
Yeah, and that's how I've done it, and I feel that pocket allows me to be the most creative.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that I work with two other artists in Peace Move and OC Notes that they can vibe with me in that way.
Yeah.
But I still, behind the scenes, Peter, big up Peace Move, he's heavy on his 1000 game. Mm-hmm. Great visual artist. So he's doing his thing. And, Otis, we rock quite often. He's right now he's on tour with Shabazz Palaces. I think he's somewhere in like Detroit or New York or somewhere right now. Mm-hmm. Big up OC. Bless up with the highest intentions.
But that's, I'm glad that it was something organic and nothing too political, because the moment you start forcing art as either a rapper or an artist is, in my opinion, the moment it starts becoming inauthentic, and it can lead into a spiral of crap. But when you are writing and when it is organic, what does your process look like?
It's a feeling, man. Sometimes I don't want to write. You know, sometimes I might spend a month just listening to beats or even like artists that are even outside of hip hop. Like I might just listen to like, we'll just say Sonny Rollins, you know, jazz musician.
Mm-hmm.
Like I might listen to like his records or have it on my Spotify playing and just imagining like, man, like what was like, how did this guy move like when he was out in the scene? Like what was his vibe? What was his energy? Because more so than what you say, it's like how you move. And that's, you know, like it's like I'm not out here like trying to prove to anybody that like I'm an artist. Like, you know, people will be like, oh man, like maybe one day you'll make it. Like I am making it.
Yeah.
But like, how am I moving when I'm making it?
Yeah.
That's just important to me. Making sure that like my movements are correct. I'm making sure I'm paying homage to those who came before me, and I'm looking forward and not trying to stay in one particular place.
Is that how you would define making it as?
Yeah, just evolving within your own natural being.
Rebirth itself, and my health is my wealth, and my pot is top shelf. Wizard of ounces and nobody else who's weighing me out. That's who's weighing me out. Hendrix and Prince, this Paisley Haze got me way out. This Paisley Haze got me way out.
This purple rain come from purple clouds. All this haze in the air, it's all around. This purple leaves come from purple trees. Yeah, baby, we rollin', about to set you free. This purple rain come from purple clouds. All this haze in the air, it's all around. This purple leaves come from purple trees. Yeah, baby, we rollin', about to set you free.
Looking outside of yourself for the answer.
All right, the next beer we're going to try from Urban Family is the Aprium Dream. It is a 6.3% oak fermented ale with local Apriums.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I would kill everyone in this room for a drop of sweet beer.
Ooh, that tastes kind of like peachy.
Yeah.
A little peachy. Definitely a sour, but not as sour as the last one.
I like it.
Me too.
I like the sour family. This is a really nice, like this is a nice follow-up,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, you think so?
I think so. Yeah,
It's kind of like a Starburst. It's kind of got like the tanginess in it.
I almost get a hint of strawberry.
Yeah, there is actually.
Like,
Yeah. Okay, we're gonna play a game called Define the Line. I'm gonna give you a line or a couple of lines you wrote and you spit on a track either from Metal Chocolates, Fresh Espresso, or your newest album, which I've gotten a sneak peek on, Wizard of Ounces. And I'd like either a backstory or thought process when writing that line. Does that sound good?
that's tight.
All right, all right.
That's tight.
The song Opium of Love, which was your lead single from the Metal Chocolates LP. The line is, I can reinvent myself like I'm the new thing, fly wire fish for goldfish in a purple pond.
Yes. So, for the record, Metal Chocolates allowed me to be as visual. Like I'm a visual writer. That record was definitely kind of through my lens. I don't know, man. It was just like I put myself in like this mindset. Like, what if like the Beatles and Funkadelic were just in a room, Parliament, and they were just like taking mushrooms and just smoking weed and doing LSD and all these things. And I can reinvent myself like I'm the new thing. Like I just kind of vision myself just like, you know, whatever I want to be, I can shape into that. Like I have that ability. Fly wire fishing for goldfish in a purple pond. Now that's just literal wordplay. Obviously, you know, I think of goldfish as a fish, but like they're swimming like in these murky waters. It's really almost just like a psychedelic visual, and I'm quite sure like I definitely shroomed out a lot during that process of writing that record.
Cool.
And it was more like colors popping and like I'm trying to let you kind of see what my trip looks like through kind of, I don't know if you've ever taken mushrooms before.
I have multiple times.
So like that was like my attempt of like kind of giving a visual of what I was kind of seeing.
Okay.
And also trying to also just kind of say, hey, I'm able to just reinvent and reshift, you know, it's just a psychedelic presentation. I would even say, I would take that line and say, Peter, I challenge you to make a painting from that.
Yeah.
right? And he would be able to.
Right. It's a little abstract, but it's a presentation of what your mind is visualizing.
Yeah.
Was that kind of accurate? I love the line. I just love the sound of fly wire fish.
Fly wire fishing, man.
Yeah.
Deep bass fishing, man.
Yeah.
Let's catch some fish in some of these psychedelic waters.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, you could take that. So, and I don't, honestly, I'll be completely honest. I don't really like giving the cookies away. I like for people to have their own interpretation.
Okay.
I mean, there could have been some sexual references there. There could have, I don't know. It's just, but hopefully I answered your question.
You did, and that's going to bring me to the next one. The song is Sunglasses On from your sophomore album from Fresh Espresso. The lyrics are, keep it major clean, endorsed by custodians, mopping up this cake, yeah, I went to the bakery, no cake there. My recipe for these wraps are the cake mix, yeah.
Repeat that again.
Okay. Keep it major clean, endorsed by custodians, mopping up this cake.
Okay, so
Hit me.
that's how I just needed to. So, keep it major clean, endorsed by custodians mopping up this cake. All right, so custodians keep their grounds clean.
Right.
So I'm keeping it major clean, but my delivery and what I bring is clean.
Yep.
And I'm mopping up this cake, which is money.
Exactly.
But I'm doing it in a way that is like not necessarily I'm not chasing the dollar. Like I'm actually putting out my best effort and that is what's allowing me to mop up this money, keeping it major clean here. While like a custodian while I'm mopping up this cake here.
Okay. The part that I'm get a little lost is went to the bakery, no cake there. And then my recipe for these wraps are the cake mix.
Yeah, because the bakery, they might sell the product.
Okay.
But I have the mix and the ingredients.
Okay.
So you gotta fuck with me to get the recipe. Now
Yeah.
we're in business.
I like it.
Just because there's a store, let's take a weed shop.
Okay.
Okay. You can have a store that sells weed, but they don't grow the weed. So it's a symbiotic relationship. Like all I'm saying is I'm coming with the recipes and I'm going to the bakery. I got the cake mix. People ask me, or even Tribe Called Quest said this, they'll ask like, oh, what did you say? And they'll be like, whatever you wanted it to say.
Sure.
And I kind of like to hold to that, but for the sake of the game,
Yeah.
because I think this is really tight.
Okay, good. I was trying to get a read on you, like, so do you not want to play this?
Yeah, no, it's okay. I am breaking my own rules, but there are rules that I made, so I can break them.
And you gotta understand, I'm asking this as someone who likes your raps.
Oh, yeah.
And I've listened
Oh,
to
yeah.
your shit, and I'm like,
Respect,
what does
man.
that mean? Like,
Respect, man. Yeah,
So
yeah.
we're gonna bring it to the last one, and then we're gonna talk about your new project, which I can't wait for. But we're gonna talk about one of the songs. The song "Cups Flooded." It's one of your slower, laid-back songs on the Wizard of Ounces, and the lyric is, and I love this because I think you repeat part of this in the bridge or something, but it's, these eyes don't idolize, heard a lot of lies, trench coat, London fog, heavy bass, analog, heavy, heavy glow.
So, repeat that one more time.
One more time. These eyes don't idolize, heard a lot of lies.
Right. So, yourself being an artist.
Sure.
And it's all in good, I think, intention. But you go out and people have a few beers, you're at a show, cats get excited and it's like, oh man, you're filthy, let's link up and make music, or oh man, you're tight. And it's just kind of like, it's coming from a good place, but it's probably not that authentic. And I'm not gonna say most, but in more cases that I've seen, or like, man, just, I don't know, like, it's one thing to receive like an honest compliment, but it's like, man, don't just be, up in my ear,
Right.
Or let
And
me
those-
be doing it. And it's like, it's like idolizing or like kind of like just, man, we're all here creating, and I feel like people who show up to shows are just as important and just as special as the people who are making the music, because like it's an energy back and forth.
It's a two-way street.
So, that's just kind of how I was feeling. Whatever, not to quote my own shit, but I even said in Green Windows on the second Fresh album, I said, I want to shine light. I don't want the limelight. You know what I mean? So I don't do well with accepting praise. And so I'm just like, man, we don't have to always do that.
Accepting praise or accepting kind of inauthentic praise?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And
But
then
but I don't know. That was just the headspace I was in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
And so I'm not saying that that's like necessarily like I feel that way all the time, or like I don't want to, like I don't appreciate compliments.
Yeah.
Because I do. But I mean, even outside of like music, I mean, you know, I could only imagine, like, example, like for a female, like if a lady is beautiful and, you know, whatever, like we don't always have to say that to acknowledge it.
Yeah.
Sometimes just a head nod.
Sure. It's whatever you're feeling.
A head nod.
Yeah.
Or, you know, like subtle acknowledgement sometimes is better than just kind of like trying to prove that like you ride for somebody, or you like, oh man, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. Yeah, we'll leave that to interpretation, man. But I've just never really been big on like over the top props.
Yeah. And does the next line tie into that? The trench coat, London fog, heavy bass, analog, heavy.
Yeah, I just trench coat. I'm low key, bro.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just kind of like to be low key, like, you know. And but the I don't want to give away too much, but like, I mean, the record it's got a big sound to it, but I feel that my approach is very like covert, and especially on this song, it's very like subtle. And I put it out on a cassette tape. Like,
Yeah.
the beats are hella big, and so I don't know.
Let's transition into that. I listened to the album. I listened to it on a tape deck in my car a couple times. It's got drum and bass. It's got some jungle influence. It's definitely hip hop though. Tell me about what you've called, and you've told me off the record. You've told me it's an art piece.
Yeah.
How can you define that in your own words?
Well, I mean, people will say like, oh, you know, if you keep at it, you'll make it. And the reality is that I am making it, and I make the ultimate decision on how I want to deliver this music. And I truly look at it like people who paint, you know, they buy canvas, they buy paint, they buy brushes, and there's no kind of, what you get is what you get. You know, they can't, you know, edit or go back. It's like they have to commit to their piece. And when it's done, it's like, hey, this is what I've done, and this is my presentation. And whether it gets picked up by a gallery or whatever, like, you know, that doesn't change the fact that like that art piece was created, and they are artists, and they are showcasing their art. So that's how I look at it. Like, my expectation is to create and to say, hey, these are my ideas. This is the medium that I decided to put it on. Here it is. You know, and that mindset allows me to walk away and feel proud and satisfied.
What made you want to go the route of drum and bass and some jungle type tracks?
Well, to go back and I guess phrase one of my lyrics, I can reinvent myself like I'm the new thing. Like I have such a huge palette of sounds that I'm inspired by, that I've just tasted certain varieties. I've always loved drum and bass music back in the day. I feel like that's like the UK's answer to hip hop. It was just basically like, you know, jazz samples over like faster BPMs, break beats. I spent some time in the UK, heavily inspired by just being, you know, in London for a little bit of time. I didn't live there, but I visited for some extensive time. Yeah. And just catching that vibe, and like actually hearing like the pirate radio parties, like fucking interrupting BBC, and like, you know, it was hella inspiring. And, you know, also being from Michigan, man, like big up Moody Man, Kenny Dixon Jr., like a lot of the soulful house music out of Detroit and Chicago, and like the soulful techno music. Like, I just grew up around those sounds, so it wasn't really that foreign to me. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it's just a tight sound, man. You know, and big up J Battle, who actually
Creeps.
Yeah, man, Creeps, man. You're always gonna be J Battle to me, but you're Creeps, man. You're filthy. He basically anchored the record. We recorded the album at Battlefield Studios. Mr. Brown's got a couple joints on there as well. Big up Mr. Brown, a tight electronic producer from San Antonio. He definitely brought like a little bit of that juke, kind of that Chi-Town juke flavor to it, which was really tight. But yeah, man, I love that format. The format felt right. I mean, was fresh off of my travels, and yeah, I just love that sound, man.
People want to know, when can they hear The Wizard of Ounces?
I'm keeping this, kind of boutique style, just drop a few Easter eggs here and there. But I'm planning a show October at the Screwdriver. I don't have an exact date yet, but I'll have details coming real soon, and you can catch that on my my Instagram at Je suis Rico. If you guys want to follow me.
I'll put that link in the comments down below, everybody.
Cool. You know, hey, we're living in crazy times, so there's going to be a security briefing, but I do typically confirm and allow people to follow me, but there will be a security briefing, but it's pretty easy. So just go ahead and click on, and I'll let you
follow
guys.
his private profile, and you'll get a glimpse into Rik Rude's life, man. Well, I can't wait to hear it in its absolute finished form. I've heard the tape deck you've given me, and ladies and gentlemen, I'm just saying this, you know, as you know, obviously he's on my show, but I'm not being biased. It's a damn good record, you know.
Also, if you guys are interested, I did a limited run of cassette tapes. I do have a few left. Feel free to hit me up on my Instagram page. Again, it's at Je suis Rico, je.suis.rico. Again, there is a security clearance, but it's not that difficult. Chime in, say what's up, hit me up on the direct message. I'm in Seattle, Washington. I gallivant through the cities.
That nutrients, that alkaline, that's for the mind of business gets acidic. But what is art if the artists don't feel it? I don't know. That's a complex scenario. Full throttle like Rari's in the safari. So into the Serengeti. I hope you're ready.
Even though you know it's hard, you gotta keep your head up. Keep your eyes to the sky. It's gonna get better.
The final beer of today's episode of Hoppy on Broadway is Urban Family's Beacharillo. It's an Amarillo dry hop peach sour ale weighing in at 6.2%. Yet another sour that I hope to be delicious like the last two.
Yeah, honestly, like I'd say right now, like we're 2 for 2 right now.
Okay, let's try the third, man.
All right, cool.
One more cheers.
To alcohol, the cause of and solution to all of life's problems.
This has definitely got like I could taste the hops
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah, it's definitely got a little bit of bitterness in there compared to the other two.
Now this almost reminds me of like a. Oh wow. I mean it's definitely like a sour, but the hops. I mean it's like the back end, almost like an IPA, but like it's not heavy like an IPA, but it's like that hoppiness. It's just that hoppiness.
Yeah, it's got some IBU on there.
Almost like I taste the peach, but it's almost a hint of grapefruit. You know how hops have a way, certain hops has that grapefruit note to it?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is delicious. This is really good.
Yeah, would you say that? Do you have a favorite out of all these three? And if you don't, that's totally cool. You've been fair with your reviews thus far.
Was it the Arium Dream?
Aprium?
Aprium?
Aprium. Yes.
Aprium Dream. The only reason why I would maybe give the nod to that one, I think it's kind of the balance between the two.
Yeah. I didn't even plan that, but yeah, that's kind of transition through it. I got to say my favorite is the Briarheart. I love that tartness. And that's coming from someone who I used to not like sours.
See, I mean, I could maybe lean that way too. They were all fantastic offerings. Like they really were. But yeah, I think I'm gonna stick to my guns and say that is it Aprium?
Aprium. I had to look that up actually.
Okay.
Yeah.
Aprium Dream. But I mean, it's they're all fantastic offerings for sure. Yeah.
All right. Yeah. We're going to jump into this next segment. Feel free to enjoy your beer throughout this, though. Don't want to rush you. So I know that you're a weed smoker. We talked about this in the previous segment. And this is a game I like to call Whack or Fact. Okay. I went around the town to a few different dispensaries and made a list of some of the weirdest names for strains on sale here in Seattle. But I've also included a handful of fake weed strains on the list. I'm going to read you each strain name one at a time, and you have to tell me if it's whack, as in it's not a strain, or if it's fact. You ready for this?
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right. Are you confident?
I feel pretty good.
Yeah? You've been around the area. It's not like you said before, it's not your first rodeo.
You know.
All right.
I feel confident. I like my odds.
Yeah. All right. Cheesequake.
That is true.
Yep, that's fact. Blue Boy.
Fact.
Susie Q.
Ooh. I'm actually gonna say fact.
That's a fact.
I'm gonna say fact.
Yep.
I just haven't seen. Yeah, I don't. I remember that when I was in Cali. Actually, I heard that strain by that name. But anyhow.
Okay, Astral Plane.
No.
Yep, you're right. SoCal Slow Roast.
No.
Correct again. Tesla Tower.
You know, it would not surprise me if that strain existed, but I'm gonna say no.
It does.
That's tight. That's a new one. That's like that billionaire Amazon cross, bro. What's that called again?
Tesla Tower.
Ladies and gentlemen, I am Rik Rude, the Wizard of Ounces. Whoever has the link on the Tesla Tower, I'm trying to get some of these exotic seeds. I'm trying to get a hold of this strain. Holler at me at Just Sweet Rico. Small security clearance, no big deal. I'm trying to smoke the Tesla Tower, guys. Let me know.
I think it's up at hashtag if you're looking to pick up.
Hey, I'm like this, come and meet up with me. Hey, come pick up a tape, come smoke with me. Come on, let's do a barter. Let's talk about it. Hey, that's cannabis brings people together. So Tesla Tower, come on, find the wizard.
Straight up.
Security clearance.
Washed out haze.
This is a new one.
This is a new one.
You probably gave the answer away only because I have not heard of it. I'm gonna say no because I don't want to be like,
You're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah, that's a strain. I'd rather like go down and be like, no, and be like, actually that exists. I'm like, cool, I learned something.
Yeah,
I'd rather like learn than lie.
Yeah, sure.
Man, yeah, I tried it. That's the fire. Really?
All right. Alien ass hat.
I think of Dr. Seuss's hat, but I'm gonna say false.
Nope, it's fact.
What is it called?
Alien ass hat.
See, the cool thing about this, I can now go directly to the buyers that I work with, and I can be like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah.
You guys don't have this?
Why isn't it here?
I'm so embarrassed. I was on the air and I had no idea. See?
There you go.
So I gotta take note of this. So
All right.
Tesla Tower, and what was the other one?
Alien ass hat.
Alien ass hat.
All right, this one is really difficult.
All right.
Rub-a-dub-dub, thanks for the nug.
I'm gonna say no.
Yeah.
Just because I've not heard of it.
No, that'd be a ridiculous name.
It would be. I've heard some bad names though.
Yeah.
You know what name I can't do? Green crack, man.
Oh, yeah.
And that's a great strain. You know what I mean? But it's just kind of like, really?
Real idea to crack, you mean?
I mean, yeah. That like cannabis is just the complete opposite of that movement. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to get up into that landscape, but we know that there are certain states outside of our wonderful state of Washington that feel that cannabis is like destroying our country.
Sure.
And there's certain states that there's just this taboo. So I think there is a lot in the name, and I get it. Sometimes things are tongue in cheek and taboo sells, but yeah.
Yeah. It's a whenever I see that like on a menu, I've never had it, but apparently it's good, so maybe I should try it. But when I look at it, I'm like, that's not something I want to put in my body.
Well, it's interesting because I've worked at a medical dispensary before, and I've encountered a lot of recovering, addicts off of opioids and all sorts of other drugs, and cannabis was something that they could get some type of healing from and kind of, take a different route. And so I think psychologically, like some of those names can kind of play into,
bring back feelings.
a little bit.
Yeah.
So, but whatever. That's just me being thoughtful.
Sure.
I love working in the cannabis industry, man. It brings people together. There's people that I've met in that industry, not to sidebar, but it truly brings people together, man. Race, color, creed, fucking whatever. Like you smoke? Oh, you smoke? Oh, where? What you smoking? Oh, Blue Dream.
Yeah.
Where? Like I use that as a vehicle.
Yeah.
I use that as a vehicle, man. And I've had an opportunity just to connect with some of the most amazing people, through cannabis.
Yeah. Almost done with the game. Bike ride.
That is true.
Nope.
Wait a minute. No, it was. There is a bicycle strain.
Is there?
Yeah.
Okay.
There is a bicycle strain.
There's not a bike ride though.
No.
I'll give you a half knockoff.
There is a bike strain though. Oh man. Okay.
All right.
Yeah, but okay.
Last one. Afgoo.
Oh yeah. That's a
Yeah.
strain.
Nice, man. You got, I'm going to say 2.5 wrong because there's a bike strain apparently.
There is, man.
I believe it.
Oh man,
You cheater.
I'm gonna check on my phone as this interview goes on. I'm gonna fact check
on your
myself.
phone, and we'll do a little a jump cut into it once you find the answer.
Got it. Big up Urban Legends. I slang the herbs legally there. Mm-hmm. You guys want to pay me a visit? The Wizard of Ounces is there. That's me. All right, so for the record, what does that say?
Where's my bike?
Come on.
I'll give you half.
Come on,
I'll give you
man.
half.
Folks, it's a sativa-dominant cannabis strain. Hey, where's my bike? It boasts heavy Wait, what is this? Anyhow, I'm not gonna play Leafly.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, all right, cool.
Yeah, all right.
My intentions were in the right place.
Still pretty damn good, man. I could not do nearly as good on these type of games. I'm impressed. At this part of the interview, it's always during the last section. I love to hear about my guests' thoughts on Seattle's hip hop world. So I'm not going to even follow up that with a more specific question. Just a generalized statement, like, tell me what you think about Seattle hip hop.
I think that it's evolving. It has evolved and it is evolving. I think that there is variety. I do think that there are a lot of underrepresented artists out there. And I don't like that, but at the same time, it's exciting. It's almost like back in the day when you're digging for records. Like, you're always trying to find that low-key find. Like,
yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's weird because I feel like I almost like shoot myself in the foot because it's like I kind of like the mystery of like, yo, like, if you figure it out, you'll figure it out. But, I would like to see more of these other artists that don't have the same platform.
Do you have any specific in mind?
I mean, I could just name a few artists that I really enjoy. I just think that there is underrepresentation of a lot of art. There's a lot of bedroom producers who, like, man, to take it back to Fresh Espresso days, like, we fucking kicked the door down unapologetically. I'm sure that there are people who appreciated that album, and there are certain people who didn't like it, and people were very vocal about it, and I'm okay with that, And I think that there are other artists where, like, I just would like to just see them break out, and regardless of, oh man, that sounds too raw, or that sounds too underground. Like, that's the tight shit. That's the shit that people want to hear. You know what I mean? And fuck it. Hey, if your shit's super clean and super polished, that's tight too. But like let's just have a spectrum of sounds and not just be like, well, what sound's gonna be the most popular for our city? Yeah. Like, who's the best? There's no fucking best, man. Like, whatever. I'm just get to the point. I'm just very passionate about that. Yeah, as you should be. I'm gonna get to the point, man. Well, he's doing big things. He's doing great things, but I'm very proud of Porter Ray. Oh, yeah. Who I remember this cat when he was, in high school, and just seeing him flourish, it just truly makes me proud.
He's on tour right now with Shabazz, correct?
He is, and OC as well. And OC Notes. But Porter Ray, I tip my hat off to that brother. Wisdom, you know what I'm saying? Wisdom, who holds it down on production. If y'all don't know Wisdom, he just dropped an album called Shadows, who's very fresh, super fresh. Are you hip to Wisdom?
Yeah, man, he was my first episode. He's my guest on my first episode. Tight. Yeah, he gave me like an advanced copy of Shadows. I got it like right laying around now too. He's dope.
Word, man. But yeah, man, like I said, I could go on and name a bunch of artists, but I feel good about at least saying, those two artists. And I don't want to go into this whole roll call thing.
We don't need to do that, but you mentioned there's a lot of people out there who are undiscovered and that you're not so keen on that. What can people who are listening, either as hip-hop artists or just listeners or fans or people who like to go out, see music, listen to local music, what can they do to help themselves to artists they haven't discovered yet?
Call KEXP Street Sounds and request these artists and be like, yo, do you have that record? I'm trying to hear this person. Mm-hmm. Like, go to your record store, ask for these artists at your record stores. Request these artists, and you go to venues. Don't be afraid to fucking send an email to a talent buyer. Hey, why aren't you guys like, what's up with this? Like, the people have always been in control, and there's all these weird like theories and formulas telling people like what they should like, and I think that people need to speak up for what they want. And I mean, it might sound a bit like whatever, but I mean, hey, just put it out there. It's easy as calling Street Sounds. Big up Ramos. Big up Barry. Big up Stas. You know what I'm saying? Those are the homies. Hit them up. Be like, yo, what's up? I'm trying to hear that. I'm trying to hear that Gifted Gab album. Gifted Gab is another one, man.
She's so good.
That is my homie. Like, oh, we're supposed to actually go to La Cucina Buffet. She's going to laugh when she hears this. That's our spot. Yeah. We smoke and we fucking go to La Cucina Buffet on Broadway. Gab, I love you, homie. That's my homie right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. But anyhow, man, it's just so many tight artists, man, and I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
I'm passionate about it. You know.
Yeah.
So, if I didn't name certain artists, it's not. I didn't come here with a list of artists, but there's just. I think there's a great group, just a tier group of artists who are doing great things that don't necessarily have to be world renowned in order to receive the credit that they deserve.
Yeah. And on that note, we're going to have to wrap up the podcast. It is about that time, but I really want to thank you, Rik Rude, so much for being here. Everyone who's listening, check out the links in the description below for some of his music, some of his social, his Instagram that's on security lockdown, but it's just a clearance matter. You got to just get into it. And keep your ear to the ground about his upcoming show in October.
I said I wasn't going to do this, man, but I got to give a shout out to the young Greg Cypher, Kung Fu Grip, man. You know what I mean? Big up ZOD. He did the artwork. Big up Rad Jaw, OFS, Iskadaf. You know what I mean? I got to do it. Respect. Didn't mean to forget any names, but I love you guys.
And anything else you'd like to add?
Yeah, my man's over there at the 7-Eleven, and I want to give a shout to my guy Ray, Lord Vintage, obviously. Actually, no, truly though, for the sake of the record, Wizard of Ounces, big up to Zod the God. We grew up together in Michigan. He did the artwork, okay? Shout out Kelly Castle Scott. She did all the vocals. She was actually I was trying to get her to come and join me for this, but she couldn't make it. She was the female presence on the album, okay? Lord Vintage, big up to him. He's a feature, okay? Shout out Creeps, J Battle for production, all right? Mr. Brown, production. And also Bernie Love. Bernie Love, he DJs the live sets with me. Ill Cat, he lives here in Seattle, Philly, Jersey, came out here. Ill Graph artist, he's in the scene DJing. He believes in fucking carrying his crates with him everywhere he goes. His coffins in his crates. And he spends, I think, every Saturday at Hotel Albatross in Ballard. I just had to give it up for those people.
Hell yeah, I appreciate it. Again, Rik Rude, thank you so much. My name is K-Rad. This has been Hoppy on Broadway. Until next week. Peace.
These eyes don't idolize, heard a lot of lies. Trench coat, London fog, heavy bass, analog, heavy glow. Hit the soup for the herringbone. Gold scale, Libra chain for the youth. Booster seats, Gold Coast, bone crusher, gold dust. Is that a noose? Please speak truth. My cup's flooded with. My cup's flooded with. My cup's flooded with. My cup's flooded with.